Like, stuff is just being done without substance. Hey, y'all, I am back. Your friend, Jared Javante, the Hollywood hero. I'm so sorry that I left you without a fresh beat to step to for a little minute, but I have been so sick. Sick and tired of these. No, but seriously, I really did come down with a couple things while I was away. It was crazy. I haven't been sick in years, y'all. But enough about me. Today, we are here to talk about the brand new movie, what I think already has the bones to be such, but it's definitely going to be a cult classic in 10 to 20 years. But we're here to talk about The Substance. I need some good substance. She keeps singing me songs, so I need some type of drug. So I hit on my. I want to talk about the good, the great, and honestly, there's nothing to really hate for me. Now, I know there's been some, peeps and murmurs of, the M word, and there's room for all of that, but there's also room for nuance and, what's the word? Or the phrase? Media literacy, yes. If you like this kind of content, these type of videos, just like, comment, subscribe, help a brother out. It's hard out here for a pimp trying to get the money for a rent. You know what I'm saying? Anywho, let's kick it off. So to start off with the good, the concept, it's really good. Personally, I think there are no original ideas anymore. And there haven't been any original ideas for a minute. And that's not a bad thing, but everything is an offshoot or an adaptation or a modern retelling of something or other. Mind you, Shakespeare, the Iliad, the Odyssey, all of these things inspired the culture or the pop culture that we know today. And so this is obviously kind of an adaptation on Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, where there's one person, two faces, and one personality is a little bit more monstrous than the other. Another thing I really liked about this movie was its simplicity or its understatedness where it needed to be. The characters, you didn't need to know too much about them. What does Sue do, or what does Elizabeth do? She's a workout lady. I guess she is what Julia or Jillian Michaels would have been, in the early 2000s, late 90s, in her universe. And so I feel like there's not too many questions asked as to, who she is, how much money does she make? Obviously, she stays in a nice house. She lives in a very nice area. She has sickening wardrobe. I mean, everybody is raving about the yellow coat, as am I. But, there's not too much to be explained about Elizabeth or Sue, quite honestly. She's old, she's young, she's jealous, she's, not content in her body as an older, aging woman. She's being made to feel by society, or honestly, the character played by Dennis Quaid, who could, in one way, kind of represent society as a whole, but also he's just a misogynist, a plain old, just F boy. You know what I'm saying? Grown up into a man who just happens to hold a high position at this media company, as so many of them do. And there's honestly not too much to explain about him. He is the bad guy, quote unquote. We all know a guy like this. He is a representation or a facsimile of just, misogyny or oppression or just dumbassery. You know what I'm saying? But none of these characters were the most complex thing walking. Sue, when she emerges out of her back, when she turns red from her backside, she's the hottest young thing walking. Dennis Quaid character don't ask no questions. We don't ask no questions. We just know, oh, okay, cool. And we go along with this. And I think So many movies nowadays, or so many of these universes, just feel like they need to over explain things to their audience. I do understand, a vast amount of people don't have the highest literacy rate. However, people don't need things over explained for them when they're coming to be entertained. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing that I can appreciate about the substance. It didn't try to over explain anything to you, specifically the substance itself, the actual vial. It had, what was it? Three instructions. You inject, you activate one time, you switch every 7 days, and you stabilize. I mean, I think that was out of order. However, it was very simple, and it was ominous to the reader or the watcher, viewer, whatever you want to call it, us. And it should have been obvious to Elizabeth that obviously this is some sketchy stuff, but the things that misogyny and ageism puts on people, specifically women of a certain age, it causes them to do things that anybody from the outside looking in would be like, girl, you crazy. Anywho, let me not get into a dissertation. The next thing that I really enjoyed about this movie was the style. I mentioned the yellow coat. It was so striking, such a, representation of a character. If you don't know who Sue is, you know who she is from her backside with that long black bust down, 40 inches at least, and her yellow coat and her red gloves. The usage of primary colors and just these very striking, vibrant shades, like the hallways, even at the end when, spoiler alert, there is a certain bodily fluid that comes flowing down the hallway. I'll just leave it at that. But, it was just beautiful to look at, and it was engaging to the eye. I can say that my eyes were glued to the screen because it was something for the eye to absorb, or there was something there for the eye to really, feast upon, if the phrasing makes sense. All right, y'all. Now to move on to the great category. Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley, y'all did the damn thing, okay? There's this stereotype that women are just always catty and they always hate each other. And the way that these two women portrayed this rivalry between a woman that is herself but also is not herself, it was really engaging for me. I think Demi Moore really showed her ass in the best way possible, especially in that scene when she was getting ready to go out for the date and, kept on reapplying her makeup and looked in the mirror until her face was falling off the bone, quite honestly, and ended up not going anywhere. And, to be honest, I've had me a night or two like that where I've just been like, girl, the clothes is not fitting, the fit is not fitting, and nothing is hidden. Let's just call it a night and go to bed. And I imagine as an older woman, like that feeling is intensified by like 50,000. So I really felt for her on that. And it really, kept on portraying what misogyny and ageism does to people, specifically women. Another great thing that I really loved about this movie were the visuals, the practical effects, specifically Monstro Alyssa Sue. It just, oh my gosh, the Cronenberg influence. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. I just have to take a moment because I feel like there has been this trend of when people try to do a body horror movie, it's just gross out shock humor without any kind of artistic or, really any kind of thought behind it. Just gross, gross, gross on top of gross. Stuff is just being done without substance. I think that Monstro Alyssa was gross with a point. You know, it was saying something again, how people will go and do these crazy things because society is saying you don't look good as you are. And I think it was really poetic, and I think it was just really funny that her taping her old face onto herself is what got her through the door to be able to even get up on the stage. And that is going to be my last point that I really loved about this movie. It's just fucking campy. Like, we don't get camp movies like this anymore. I think people strive to go for the camp effect or something that is kind of campy, and it ends up being just this. I don't know. It's something I've been noticing, and I've been trying to, support and really enjoy and get into some things. But you know that thing of I don't know, it's such a boy phrase, but or the Beamer truck look like a Bentley truck to the Bentley pull up. You know what I'm saying? And the substance, she was the Bentley. I just loved that the substance was campy, but it also had humor to it. It also had, real things and themes that it was trying to address, but it didn't knock you over the head with it. It just was a fun time. And it's like, if you get it, you get it. If you're not picking up the deeper message, then, just be along for the ride. And please, y'all, please do not make a sequel. Don't commission a sequel. Don't do the Substance universe. I just, please, y'all, allow this to be a shining example that original, campy, fun, creative concepts can be out there and be outlandish and be, far from the everyday experience and still be critically and commercially successful. Just give it a chance. Just give it a damn chance. Like I said, in the year of 2024, there aren't any truly original ideas, but there are still original and inventive executions of concepts. And there are still concepts that are bred from things that are, fresh and innovative and still can get the people going and draw the masses, but it not be existing intellectual property. I am so sick of seeing reboot after reboot, extended universe after extended universe when there's nothing to extend. The first movie itself was the universe, and you just take that for what it is. And I think we need to get back to that on a lot of things. All right, y'all. Lastly, simply because there's nothing to criticize, at least from my point of view, I did have a couple of takeaways and kind of serious takeaways that I just wanted to throw out there. Firstly, to the young women of any age who are watching this movie, you are beautiful. Love yourself in the skin you're in. I know people, love to throw that around and, oh, it's gonna get better when you're older. But like, no, truly love yourself. This is an extreme example, but y'all, I don't condemn anyone for going to get, any body modification or elective surgical cosmetic procedures. However, the things that young women are putting themselves through every day in order to appeal to a standard and not for themselves, it's really disheartening for me to even see as a young man. I hope this movie can touch somebody or a couple somebodies and, through the lens of horror and comedy, make them wake up and be like, bitch, I'm beautiful. Because at the end of the day, after Sue done turned herself into the beast with 5 billion backs, she wanted to go back to Elizabeth. And it's like, wow, I was beautiful in the end after all. I just had a couple crow's feet. Mind you, if we're being for real, she didn't even need the substance. The substance was so extreme for her to go to. She didn't think to go to a dermatologist real quick and just be like, let me just get a little Restylane here and a little Botox here. Just a little bit of collagen. Girl, you could have been plucked, surged down, and you wouldn't have had no bitch coming out of your backside telling you what to do. Now look at you. Yesterday's news, swept up on the sidewalk, quite literally. Okay, now this is going to be a general message to all gender identities and, however you identify.
Women and non-binary people of all gender appropriations and the pronouns, everyone.
And it's going to be kind of the same thing, however, just hold out. Love the skin you are in. And I truly mean love it, like through action, through behaviors, through habits. The way that, every time Sue thought she was getting over on her older self, I think a lot of us that are younger, we take our youth for granted. And I don't mean in the way of we don't do certain things, but even that. However, live well now so that when you are older, you not looking like a monstrous blob of flesh and bone. And, your everything is falling off the bone because you refuse to take care of yourself in your 30s, in your 20s. Drink water, eat a fruit or a vegetable. I'm so serious. Simple things now are going to, pay off in the long run. Everything that Sue thought that she was getting in her youth, all that came back tenfold when she, transitioned back to her older self. And she just kept taking and taking and taking and taking. The more that you take, there's someone still at the end of that finish line. And that someone was still Sue. And though it may not be her body at the time, it was her body at the end of the day. All I'm saying, and another thing, take care of yourself mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And I mean, take care of yourself. Like, know what's best for you. Because if someday you get in a car accident and something pop up on your TV offering you a substance, or somebody come up to you on the street or in a club or wherever you preside and spend your free time and offer you a substance to make you better, you have the power and the wherewithal to walk your ass away, because you don't want to be looking like the witch about the swamp when you're 55. You want to still look as if you can operate within human society, and that all of your bones can still work and operate in full functioning capacity. You know what I'm saying? So just love yourself, because I love you and I love me. I love me a lot. Yeah. But all right, y'all, that is all I have to say about The Substance. This is one of my favorite movies of the year and one of my favorite movies in a long time. It was just really enjoyable. Probably going to do a rewatch very soon before spooky season ends. And I'm going to try to put out some more spooky season videos for y'all before the month is over with. So please, please bear with me. Okay, I love y'all. Peace out. Bye. I need some type of substance.